Because the 2013 cycle really felt like anarchist, rebel money away to give a middle finger to the IMF and to the state. And it also felt like it might not work, right? It also
Yes.
felt like we're going to try to do something very different. Like, this is a revolution and it might not work out. It might fail, right? Like,
a lot of revolutions fail.
Yeah.
And, right. And at that point, Bitcoin was 4 years old.
right.
No one, I think, could have predicted where things would go. There were a lot of people who made predictions, but you can't really be sure that any of that would have come true if it hadn't been for people sticking with it and doing education. And,
Right.
That was kind of, my first entry point was like looking for who are the educators in Bitcoin. And there were a few.
Was Andreas?
Andreas
on the scene at
was
that
Yes.
on the scene at that time.
He was, yeah.
So Andreas was the first person that I ever learned about Bitcoin from, like, for real. Like,
Yeah,
I'd
me
heard
too.
about, I'd heard about Bitcoin. It's in my Twitter feed. I'm seeing it. I'm not buying it. I'm just like watching things happen. There was a story of the Winklevoss brothers, and they had acquired like 1% of the entire
Yeah.
Bitcoin supply because someone told them about it in Ibiza.
You're right.
So,
At a party.
I'm like, okay, so like some of these people are really cued in, and this is like worth paying attention to at least. But at that point, I still like, I don't know what this even is. Like,
Yeah.
it's nerd money. It's like, do you have to have a miner in your apartment? Like, what does it mean to actually use Bitcoin? And so there's Andreas recorded this amazing talk at Disrupt Athens in Greece in 2013. In like 20 minutes, he broke it all down. Like, this is what Bitcoin is. This is why it's important. This is how it's going to work, and how people will adopt it. And I just sent that video to like every single person I knew. I'm like, you need to watch this right now.
Yeah.
And most people just ignored it.
I mean, Bitcoin education at the time was basically
It was him. Well, there were a few other people. I mean, there was Trace.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna say.
there was Max Kaiser.
It depended on your threshold of how crass people could be.
There was Mad Bitcoins. There were people they had podcasts. Like, I joke about it a lot. Like, whenever I'm on like a YouTube show, it's like, oh, it's time for 4 dorks on YouTube talking about Bitcoin. But that's like what it was. People were just like learning and excited to talk about it for free for hours on end.
Yeah.
Some of these early Bitcoin podcasts, you can go back and listen to them. Like, there were so many of them that just don't, you don't know where they are anymore. But I was just seeking out content because I didn't know where to even look. And so I would just like stay up late and Googling things and trying to find interesting people talking about Bitcoin, because I needed someone to kind of help me with my, conviction. Because it was a tough time to sort of be in Bitcoin.
Right. Yeah. There was a lot of doubt.
Yeah.
Right. There was a lot of doubt. Like, even from myself, and I went all in on Bitcoin, and I still was like, yeah, there's about a 50% chance that this makes it, and 50% chance that it doesn't. Right. Like,
and if you're broke, it
that
doesn't
point.
matter, right? If you have like $100 to your name, you're like, well, this $100 either becomes something or it doesn't, but it's not going to change my life if it doesn't.
And that 50% was wildly optimistic.
Yeah.
Right. If the average person was like, maybe it's like 99.9, then it doesn't, and 0.1, then it does. Like, to be 50% that it might make it was like insane. To think that.